wish you a happy Mother's Day. And for many, I know it's bittersweet. Some of you have no longer have your mothers with you. Some of you have prodigals or wayward children. And so it may be a difficult time right now. And what I encourage you to do is to intentionally establish a new normal with the absentee of whether it's your mother or whether it's your child, and just choose to be happy about the memories. Count the memories a joy as opposed to focusing on what you lost or what is no longer there or what you long for, because we can't change the future or the present so much, but we can always embrace what we had and just cling to those precious memories that are in our heart, are in our mind. And many of you who have read the book, you know my journey. You know I've been on this journey for about 2016, and so the first 2 years were definitely extremely difficult. But I thank God now that there's a healing. The pain is still there. Don't get me wrong. There's a little pain still. It's and it's a disappointing pain. It's not the devastating pain that once was. So I just encourage you that to do that. And if you have read, I think I don't know what chapter it is, but basically it's page 117. And if you read that, there's a prayer group that I started because there were 3 friends and we were having issues with our daughters. And I wanted to bring on Arilia Winn. She's one of the young ladies that I mentioned in the book. And as I said, it's it takes mustard seed faith. Hold on, continue to pray. If you don't feel like praying sometimes, don't pray. But I just want to encourage you that if you have a wayward child, they do come back around. And one of the things I do want to mention is that Arilia was diagnosed with bipolar 2. So I'm sure that contributes to some of her acting out and some of the things that she's done. But I just want to give you an opportunity to, one, see that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Things do change. They can change. And so I'm going to just turn it over to Arilia just for a moment to just speak whatever on her heart, to encourage the mothers and even the fathers too, who may be joining and tuning in. So Aurelia, thank you so much for joining. I appreciate it on a last minute notice.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Excuse the area. I am in my car. I just had to step away really quick and do this. I definitely, being an encourager is something that is just me. And so when you called me and said, hey, do you mind? It's like, yeah, no. I wanted to do this. I wanted to do this. So thank you for having me. But just to piggyback off of what she was saying, and even being a grown child, I'm in my 30s. I'm in my 30s, and being a grown child of a praying mother, and definitely a praying father too, has been quite the experience. And I take my hats off and give kudos to my mom, because I know, I have a 6-year-old daughter, and one of the things that I pray is, Lord, don't let her be anything like me, because I gave my mom a headache and put that woman through hell. Okay, so I'm just like, God, please have mercy on me, And there were times when we just didn't see eye to eye. I didn't want to talk to my mother. I wanted to do what I wanted to do because I was grown, I was paying my bills, and that was just my mind frame. But I had a sibling, and my sister would say, hey, have you talked to mom? No, I'm not talking to mom. And hey, have you talked to your mother? This is what she said. I'm relaying information. And it would just get on my nerves. And then finally I did call my mom, and we had a good conversation, and we came to an understanding. And it's so funny, here in a couple hours I'm going to go pick up my mother from the airport for Mother's Day weekend. And so I thought, wow, how appropriate is this? There were times where, like I said, we didn't see eye to eye. I didn't want to talk to my mother. And as a mom myself, thinking about how hurtful that must have been for her, I know how hurt I would be if my child was like, I'm not talking to you, or whatever. We just didn't see eye to eye about something and just stopped communicating and just, was not in each other's lives for a period of time. and looking back on it, it's like, oh my gosh, mom, I'm so sorry. You know what I mean? And being able to have those conversations and help her to understand, like, I was going through X, Y, Z, and all these different things. Not that it's an excuse, but sometimes, yeah, life circumstances and the weight of it, it can shift your mindset. And when you have a different mindset, I feel like your experiences change, and it can put a strain on your relationship. I know one of the things that my therapist has told me, before she had diagnosed me with bipolar 2 is, do you struggle in your relationships? And my honest answer was, yeah, because I'm just having, like, people don't understand me or whatever, and I'm just like flying off at the him. And so she just helped me to understand, like, okay, and just give me the tools that I need, and to be able to have open dialogue and communicate my needs, and just talk. And so by not talking to my mom, it was like it wasn't helping. It was not helping the situation, and it wasn't making our relationship better, which is what her and I both wanted, was just a better relationship with each other. And so, yeah, that was a couple years now. And so, like I said, I'm on my way to go pick up my mama now from the airport, and I am so excited to see her. I'm so glad that she could make it out here. She does live in Texas, and I'm out here in California, and so I'm glad to be able to see her, especially because she had COVID sometime last year, and so now that she's doing better and she can get on the plane and come see me, I'm so excited. I'm so excited about it, and just, again, the type of woman that my mother is, to be able to have friends like Dr. Jackson, and to be able to have these opportunities. And it was so funny. I was telling her earlier, I said, yeah, I have a publishing company that I started because I assisted Dr. Jackson with helping her republish a self-publishing book. And I'm like, wow, look at where we are today. You've published another book, and here I am, still feel like I'm learning and being inspired, but being able to partner with you to do something like this, I just thought, wow, look at God. Look at that. When I want to say, be obedient and reconcile some of those relationships, at least try to reconcile those relationships, and pray and just do right by people. And so amazing things has come from that. And so,
And I want to touch on 2 points. One of the things mentioned in the book about church number 2, we both attended church number 2 when you were a very little girl.
mm-hmm.
I mean, like 5 or 6. So we kind of go a long way back, and it's just
Yeah.
amazing, like you said, how things have evolved. And one of the things you don't know that I'm going to share is when you were married, you chose to get married against your mom's wishes, just like my child did. There was an incident going on in your house at that time between you and your husband, and at the time, and your mother and I was on the phone praying at 2 and 3 a.m. in the morning over that situation, literally, and I could hear what was going on, and I just had to tell her, be still, and we just prayed and we prayed and prayed, and eventually it stopped. The situation stopped. And literally from that day forward, that's where the turnaround literally shifted. And it was so difficult for her. She wanted to intervene, and I just sit there and I just pray with her. And then the second thing I want to touch upon is that in our community, mental illness is, a stigma. We think that sometimes children are acting out, but there's some mental illnesses that we do not know about. Those who read the book, my daughter's father, had some mental illness. So if something comes up later down the line where she does, I wouldn't be surprised. But it is something that we as a community need to accept. It's something we need to talk about. And one of the things that reason I had this is, one, like I said, to encourage the mothers, but also trying to create a safe place for people to speak out. not to be judged, not to be ridiculed. And, you know, you weren't, I'm not sure if you viewed the discussion with the book initially, but, you know, a lot of times, you know, we're dealing with peer pressure. We're dealing with just not wanting to be embarrassed, want to give the impression that everything is okay. And it's not. And we have to get out of that. You know, one of the things that I see on Facebook is, you know, a lot of people say, keep your business off of Facebook, you know, not me, just in general. And I turn that around. Sometimes people have to put their business on Facebook. It's the manner in which you do it, though. That's the big difference.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times people, this is their only outlet. And I know personally people have reached out to me who I don't even know. If it wasn't for certain business being put out there, they wouldn't feel comfortable enough to reach out. So, you know, I think we need to start sharing a little bit more and being a lot more transparent than what we have been. And, you know, this book is extremely transparent. And I just thank you for your transparency. You know, some of the things that you're doing with domestic violence and, you know, just the shift. So I am so proud of you. And I thank you for being, you know, so open and last minute. And I just want to wish the mothers happy Mother's Day to you. Stay encouraged. Just stay encouraged because, you know, this too shall pass, as they say. Make the best, you know, and live each day as if it's your last. Just never know. So thank you so much, Arilia. I appreciate your time. Happy Mother's Day to you. Please tell Gia hello and your mom. And I didn't even know she was coming in town.
Oh, call your friend. Oops,
so tell her.
Surprise. I don't know.
So I know. Well, but you know what? See, this was a last minute thing too. So, you know, but tell her to touch base with me when she gets in town.
Okay.
Okay, well, you guys have a good one. And for everyone that joined us, or will see this later, you know, have a safe, blessed Mother's Day. And we'll talk soon. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.